Hello, everyone. A few things off the top here. First off, welcome everybody to your Tuesday lighting critique. A just normal, totally normal Tuesday. Nothing special going on today at all. So let's distract ourselves with some lighting critiques. A few things off the top. This week's lighting critique schedule is going to be slightly different. Today at 4 p.m., I'm going to be going live. I'll send out a link later on Discord where I'm going to be announcing the winner of the lighting challenge and going through some of the images there. On Wednesday, I'll do a normal critique day. Thursday, we're adding something as well. So as you know, we've been trying to develop a katana course. I found a really, really great instructor for katana, this guy named Abel Vargas, who is incredible. I saw he's worked for the Foundry. He's worked for studios that have used katana. He's a fantastic teacher, and I'm really excited to introduce him to all of you. Additionally, and then on Friday, there won't be any critiquing. Unfortunately, I have to continue having more oral surgeries because 2020 is a fun year, and I will be out of commission on Friday. Trying to think what else. Got my daughter down below here working on the laptop today, so I don't have the Wacom, so my circles may be a little more lame than they normally are. But just kind of want to take us through a few things today. Also wanted to say thank you to all that have been giving great suggestions to the Discord channel. It's evolving. We're going to keep updating it and just figure out how it works best for us. But I definitely appreciate the feedback from so many people. It's great. You guys are wonderful. So, all right. Without much further ado, I do want to start off with Dani. So, Dani, you did submit a lovely thing, which is basically your scene with these two elements separated. It is concerning to me that the eyes are appearing in this one. You don't want that because as you add those together, it's just going to add extra value onto the eyes. So just make sure that any ambience on the eyes is turned off for that render layer. So I mean, you can easily cut it out in the post process. You can just roto around that and garbage matte that out if you need to. So I just kind of want to show you something I did here. So basically, I took what you had, I added in this element. It looks a lot better than it did previously. The softer edge is good. It's kind of fading out nicely. I do want to, but basically I just wanted to do a couple things to it. So what I did was I literally did, like, I took a shape, really just did some like ugly little rotos with it. You can see like the roto on the bottom here to cut out the stuff that I did on top. And then I blurred that up and I put it back over top. And as you can see, it just adds like a little bit more softness, a little bit more, make this big, just a little bit more softness, adds a little bit more color to it. Actually, that's a little green. I'm not crazy about that green color. I'm gonna just shift it a little bit warmer. There we go. And then the other thing that I did that I wanted to draw attention to. So if you look, and this is just in a it's my daughter hiccuping. In a modern workflow, one of the things that you need to do is you need to pay attention to the extended pixel range. Now, yours are JPEG, so they're not going to have an extended pixel range, but one thing you want to do in Nuke is you've got this slider up here that allows you to overexpose and underexpose your shot. And when you underexpose it, you can start to see that this is a little bit clamped off. So what I did was I just added a light bulb in the center there, so that as it goes down, you can see there's the light bulb shape in the center. So depending on how bright you want to make that, it'll be more accurate to the way that light would be working, with a light bulb would be brightest, and then there'd be some kind of fade out value. So I would stick to that. I think that this type of look is good, just like a little bit more warmth, a little more glow, a little more haze around there, and then we can continue from there. I'm looking at this from the thumbnail size. And one of the things to watch out for is the Poker Puss's head is looking a little bit balloony. Like the light is just kind of going all the way through it. It's a little bit ambient, and I would like to see a little bit more variation in there. So just one thing to look out for there. But I think this one's really starting to come together. So that being said, let's hop over into the other images for today. All right. So start with Alien here. We've got a very, I love this reference. I don't know if it's Hunter S. Thompson, but it feels like it should be Hunter S. Thompson. But love the color scheme. Love the fact that the eyes are hidden from the main key light and the main light slashing across here. Love the little speck hits, not only on his chin, but on the glasses, on his gloves, on the knife here. Like this is a really nice touch. I want to just point this out. Like, notice how the green light is skipping past, like it's getting shadowed by all this, and it's just sneaking in there and just hitting his knife blade. Totally unrealistic, totally not how light works at all, but just a lovely little example of how you can draw some focus on something by having a little bit of color contrast. So taking a look at what we've got here, you're doing a really good job of getting that slashing element going across here. The one thing that's a little odd is that the shape of this is like, you know, this is going down that way. Really? Okay, but as you can see, not much storage space on my computer here. So as you can see, the lines aren't like parallel with each other. And what we're seeing here is it's more like a parallel slashing coming down. And so I would try and stick to that. It just like this, I would just watch that from this. And then for your rim light, this rim light's a little bit hot. It's creating like it's a very binary type situation where it's either like super bright or super off. And I think that this is a little bit softer, a little more subtle than that. And so I would try and match that. Also, the red color is more saturated in yours. I would pull back that saturation by about 15% or so. And then let's look at the greens. Same thing with the greens, a little bit too saturated. And yeah, if we could get some, like, do you see, like, look at the shoe, right? Do you see how the shoe is like just kind of like a solid, consistent, like one red color? It would be nice to sprinkle in a little bit of that, a little bit of shaping, a little bit of variation, and a little tiny bit of that green influence from the outside. But really good job there. Annabelle, this is looking great. I love the warmth on the skin. I think the eyes are looking great. You're tying the rim color into the surroundings, and I think that's really well done. I think you can just blur up the background a few more pixels, and then I would pretty much, well, two things. One, I would blur up the background a little bit, and two, I would get a little bit more contrast around, like just underneath him. So, because his contrast point doesn't really match what's existing on the ground here. So just like inside here, just make the darks a little bit darker, and then I would call that done from there, and then a little more blur on the background. Ashley, this is looking great. I think this one's done. Really great job on this overall. You've worked really hard and created just a ton of iterations and improvements on this over the past couple weeks, and really great job. Only I say that, and then I say one last note. Just if you can tone down this little piece of paper, just like that little bit there, I think that's all I would do. That's it, and then done. No need to resubmit it. You are good to go and good to move on. All right, Danny. So you've got your camera angles here. I like the wider one. I think the wider one looks a little bit more environmental. Like it's more of a wide angle thing. Usually, unless there's a character, you don't usually punch in like this. I like the wider angle personally. I think this bleed over the table, bleeding over the edge of the wall is looking really good. Now that we've got a little light haze back here, the darks, I wonder if we can't get a little more value in the darks because they just look a little crunchy and flat. Same thing with the wall here, just like a little bit of bounce light up in there. The shadow looks better. And then from there, it's like these foreground elements are going to be all about, like as we move forward, all about getting more bounce light in here. So just like the amount of light hitting there and kind of reflecting up into those surfaces. So I think that those three things are the next step. So more value in the shadows there, a little more value in the shadows here, and then trying to bounce a few things in here if you can. We'll take a look at that and then go from there. These we covered. For this one, yeah, I like that you've gotten more darkening under there. That helps a lot. We're reading this a little better with the light being behind it. I think for now, let's start working in a little bit of like glowy haze overall. Let's try that for the next iteration. Man, I can't do anything. Like get some edge wrap on these windows, the light coming in, and then just kind of create an overall haze for the scene as a whole. And there's a lot of small shapes in these volumetric rays coming in. Let's soften those a little bit. I just don't want to draw too much attention over there. So let's just soften that, get some more haze, and then we'll take a look at it tomorrow. Hana, yes, very good. One thing about this shot that feels a little odd is that there's a little more ground than area over her head. I would just I would shift the camera up a little bit if possible, if you can, in this angle, the shadows are looking a little bit gray. I would work some more blue values in there. Like, it looks really great in here. Just back in this area, we kind of lose that bluish color. So I would try and dial that in a little bit more. In terms of this close-up, if you can get some specular highlights on the hair, I think that would look really well. Take a look at Hotel Transylvania. The black-haired woman in that has really nice hair specular highlights. It would be really good reference from there. I think. Also, like, this is a very bright snowy surface, so you can also sneak in a little more bounce light up underneath her here, because if you're thinking about a character being surrounded by all white, that's going to influence them a little bit more. And then watch out on her screen left side. There seems to be a sharp shadow or something there, just like a hard line on the screen left side, so just watch out for that. Cat. Okay, so for this one, let's see. I think, you know what, let me pause this and come back, because I think there was another iteration. Okay, so I found the other iteration. All right, so we've got soft shadows and hard shadows. So in reality, in nature, there's not that many hard shadows. So we definitely want to soften those a little bit. The thing is, with these are very, very different images. So it's like it's all hard or all soft. And I do like the lines kind of coming across behind her. I definitely don't want this amount of harshness on her face. Like, this is looking better on her, but like the background now just looks kind of bland and flat. So I would kind of balance out the two a little bit, and keep the softness on her, but then create a little bit more dynamic shadows on the background. Overall, I mean, you can definitely go brighter with this. And the bigger thing to me is just like the color like you can just go more colorful. Like, you can just play around with the colors a little bit. You can also, actually, let me get a little more dark value in here. And then so push the color, push the contrast a little bit stronger, and then push more I'm about to tell you to just push more stuff, because and I know that you're building it, and you're blocking this out a little bit, but it's all about getting like complexity in shapes and stuff once you start to do the final design. Like creating more shadows, more, if she's going to be in the market that you're creating, just a lot more stuff around her. So I would start blocking that out with, if you're going to put stalls next to her, start putting some cubes in there. Just really kind of block that out so you can get a better understanding of the complexity of the shape and the way that shadows are going to fall across the scene and things like that. And then watch out, last thing, watch out for the darkness on the poles there. They look very, very dark. And then, yeah, so I would just keep encouraging you to continue blocking that out and getting a better understanding of, like, because it almost feels like she's in prison, like she's just in the center of this room with like big walls and like lots of bars, and it feels like there would be other people around her. So I'd start blocking that in a little bit too. All right, Nigel, your updated versus your previous version, really great job getting some more color. Like, look at what we're seeing in here. I would like to soften the shadow a little bit that's coming across here. I would also like to try and get some more color into this shadow region, because if you think about light passing through the scarf a little bit, like, it would just kind of be kind of a glowy purpley color. And then watch out in your comp for some matte edges or doubled up alphas or something. Something's going on here on the edge of this. I don't know if you can see that, but basically, like, right on the edge, it almost appears to be like a white glowy halo. For the shadow in the background, it kind of has a greenish tinge to it. It would be nice if that went a little bit bluer. And then eventually we'll need to adjust her eyes so that the pupil of her eye is nice and dark. There's not quite that kind of like bluish haze over them. And we can really kind of really see into her eyes in there. I think that would be really good. Also, the square format of this is interesting. It feels like she's very boxed in. It doesn't feel like big and cinematic. It's fine, but basically, what I would do one of two things. If you want to make it more feel, if you wanted to add more to the environment, you could, expand it out and make it a little wider. I would consider extending it like downward a little bit and making it more like a portrait photograph, so you can get a little more of her torso and some elements in there. But really great progress here. Someone said it in the Facebook or Discord somewhere. You work very fast. All right, Perle, the additional ambient occlusion looks really good. I would just add a little bit more right in there. And yeah, we'll call this done. This looks really, really great. For this iteration, I like that we killed this light, that we're getting some more light over here on her. I just really want to see, you see how this bright spot is kind of focused around her mouth? I just want to shift it north a little bit and get it up around her eyes a little bit if we can. And then if that requires angling this light up a little bit, let's do it. But let's like really get it around her eyes and less so around just her mouth and neck. Because you can see it's very bright in here too. Additionally, her skin, especially her skin kind of has like a pinkish hue to it. And I would pull that back slightly, especially in her hand. Like her hand just kind of feels squishy. Like there's also like no real dark values in there. So maybe a little ambient occlusion in there too would help out a lot. So give that a try. And yeah, but these are both making really, really good progress. So that is all for today's lighting critique. Again, in a couple hours at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, I'll be going online to announce the winner of this month's lighting challenge. So I look forward to seeing you all then. All right, talk to you guys soon. Happy lighting, everybody.